Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is ColdIron, the Roundup, y'all. So the Roundup is something that I'm going to be doing after every major arc to do a check-in and see where we are headed with the next portion of the game to help people level up, because right now they are hitting their third level, which means they're going to be getting a bunch of cool stuff. For those who are getting subclasses at this level, we're going to be talking about the setting, things that we can do, and other stuff to make this homebrew world building experience a lot of fun and make sure that it makes sense. Plus, it's a moment for me to reflect on what the players want and to chat with y'all if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. This will be replacing something like the how-to sessions from our module games, so it serves a similar function. But I think I might be jumping in a little bit because, hi everybody, welcome to Dork Tales. I'm Kelly, the Dungeon Master here at ColdIron and at Dork Tales on the whole. You seeing him? And this, if you're joining us for the first time, is a homebrew adventure set in our homebrew world of Elos that follows a group of miscreants. I think miscreants works, as they head into the Wild West corner of our setting in search of an enigmatic man in black. But before we begin, why don't we go around and we do a quick check-in on who's here, starting with Caitlan. Are you in this game? I've never seen your face here.
Yeah, I am actually. I know. It's because I'm the man behind the mask.
You're a man?
Of Zoe.
Oh, okay.
The Warforged Paladin. Oath of the Peacemaker of the group.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Next to you, we've got Robin. And sorry, I had "Do you want to taste it" stuck in my head when you did that.
Yeah. No.
Do you really want to taste it? Hey, Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I use she, her pronouns, and I usually am playing Trixxi, our goblin inventor gadgetsmith, which is the Kibble's answer to the artificer. It's a retweaked artificer class, and I really like it. And yeah, gadgetsmith is she had her subclass from the beginning, but you know, I get some cool more stuff at level 3. But yeah, she's a rootin' tootin' shooting fix 'em up girl.
Nice. Down beneath you, we have the one and only Christine.
Sorry, I had to get back to the screen where my mute button was. I'm busy looking at things. But hello, I am Christine. I use she, her pronouns. And normally here I am playing Belle St. Clair, our Tabaxi warlock of the group.
Fantastic. Next to you, she's not mean or green, at least not today. It's Amy.
Hi, that's me. I'm Amy. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them, and I usually play Carrion Slaughterhouse, the ranger of the tiefling-ish variety.
I have you listed as an infernal tiefling. Curse that infernal tiefling.
Mix of infernal and orcish. It's a good combo.
It's a good combo because Amy can't resist the opportunity to rub two character races together and see what comes out.
Basically.
All right. Other things that would like to rub up Hi, Kat.
Hi. Hi. My name is Katrina. I use she, her pronouns, and I generally play our ethically and morally ambiguous seraphim girl, Taliina'a, or Tali. She is our aberrant mind sorcerer of the group who especially likes screwing with people, and she's there. She's just not there.
Fair. Last episode, folks, like I said before, you made it to level 3. Perfect. So now that you are level 3, you get some cool stuff. So today we're going to be talking about that. So if you are curious and you're like, hey, Kelly, where's all this stuff in the core book? It's not in 2024. It's not in the 2014 book. Where is it? Well, we're using a bunch of stuff, which is great for me because it means that I get to get an aneurysm trying to keep track of it. But So going around in the circle, I'm just going to let you guys in on something. So I'm planning on bringing the ColdIron setting together and like putting it up for my Patreon as like a little setting book, as well as kind of like trying to write the non-hyper character focused portions of this adventure up as a module someday. I think it'd be really cool. But with that, I have gone and created a bunch of things for this game, including subclasses. So, Zoe is going to be taking the Oath of the Peacemaker, which is a subclass that I created. And on the things that we have created together and that I've written, we will be going through it and seeing whether or not I have accidentally goobed out and made something too powerful or not powerful enough. There will be some tweaking as we go. So if we find out that like a power that I gave Zoe is really broken as a 20-foot radius, it might become a 15-foot radius after a couple of game sessions. And the players have all agreed to this type of thing. So Zoe is going to have Oath of the Peacemaker, which is a wicked badass, like Wild West sheriff style oath, paladin oath. Robin is using something from Kibbles because Kibbles they're really good at what they do, and it's a real good improvement on the Artificer. Belle is doing the Pact of the Unnamed, which is similar to a Hexblade mixed with a Gunslinger. So it's like the Pact of Roland Deshane type of thing. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Carrion originally was going to be doing something that we built, but throughout play, you kind of bounced around between the Tome of Heroes Gunslinger, and then you've decided to swap over to something else, Amy, because you want to be like more saddle focused and more animal focused. Which is interesting. So you're thinking of Drake Warden.
Yeah,
right?
or something inspired by it. Yeah.
So I actually took a look at Drake Warden in this past week or so in preparation for meeting up today. I think it works as is. I think that
Yeah.
any of the magic bullshit that's like, you summon it out of the ether, right? Like that, those things can either be tied to it being a very specially bred Sarn or you being magic.
Right. Okay.
Or a combination of. So let me know what kind of thing you want to go with there. And then finally with Kat, Kat is doing Aberrant Mind, but we completely developed like her race. So, you know.
Exactly. And I mean, if we wanted to homebrew some like meta magic options too, we totally could.
So if there's something that you want, I actually am looking down here, and inside of Tome of Heroes, which is partially green screened out because there's a lot of green on the cover, there are a ton of meta magic options in this book already. You should have access to my PDF of this for use in this game. So go check it out. So there's like autonomous spell. Oh, whoa. That is dope. Autonomous spell means that you can cast a spell with concentration without concentration.
Jesus.
It costs 3 sorcery points, and it changes its duration to like 10 minutes or something like that.
One that the one that I was absolutely gonna take, which is just a base game one, is subtle spell.
Subtle spell can be so good because everybody forgets that like spell casting is like right?
Exactly. And especially for a character like Tali, who relies so heavily on things like deception and charisma and literally trying to convince somebody using their own voice in their head to do what she wants them to do. Being able to cast a spell with no verbal or somatic components while she's restrained, gagged, whatever the heck. And now it's like, done, boy.
That's pretty great. So one thing, I want you to go pull out the book, and I want you to look. It's on page 125 of Tome of Heroes, because there are things like emotional spell. Emotional spell. You spend 1 sorcery point, and you change a target's saving throw to charisma.
I love it.
Right? It's like you cast it on the least charismatic character in the game, and you're just like, bam! Like there are some pretty good ones in this book, actually. So going through this, what we did last episode is, of course, that you all managed to escape the cauldron. Not the cauldron. You managed to escape Prospect and are making your way north toward Burden. We're going to talk story stuff in a minute, but I do want to get you leveled up first. So if you're watching this for story things, that's going to come next. We're going to start on character building first. A quick reminder that if you are hitting 3rd level, if you want to change out any spell that you have, you can change out spells on the level. Usually the optional rules are that you can change out 1 spell. I'm fine with you changing out like 1 spell per level. Like if you want to change a cantrip out that you've never used, particularly if there's something in your spell list that you've never used, or for God's sake, you took True Strike by accident, maybe you should swap it out. That's totally fine by me. Okay. That said, you can also swap things out for any of the spells from Kobold Press. You can swap them out for any spell that I have written. And if you want me to write a spell for you, please let me know. There are a ton of really cool ones. For example, Christine is looking at this spell called Claws of Darkness. It is a warlock evocation spell that it's basically the goth version of what is it, acidic claws, or it's the one druids get where they do necrotic damage with their fingers, but it does cold damage as you become like a little witchblade character.
Inflict wounds?
No, it's there's a cantrip that druids get that allows them to inflict necrotic damage with their hands. It's literally the only thing I could do as a character in a one-shot once. So that also said, Robin, you're using kibbles. So inside of kibbles, you were asking, what was the specific question? Share it with me.
I was asking because I know you gave some advice for Christine when choosing some invocations of like what might be useful for this campaign or what might not be useful, like what you don't think would get things. Because I get upgrades to my inventor gadgets, and so I get another upgrade, which is like her power fist is an upgrade. So there are quite a few options to choose from. So I was just wondering if you had
when
any
do you
ones
get
that
another
you put
one of
on
these?
Your 5th level. I get another one, and then I get to get 5th level upgrades, which is like another is like more. There's more options at 5th
Okay,
level.
so going into this, what I'm going to say is that a rough outline of what's headed for you is that you're going to be going through a traveling arc. You're going to be going into Burden. You're going to be doing some side quests there. Then you're going to be traveling across the Badlands. So there's a lot of stuff you're thinking of non-mountainous terrain primarily, a lot of grasslands. Like think of like you're headed through like the plains, right? You're headed through the flat, deserty, dry areas right now. So with that in mind, things like I would say your grappling hook, taking enhanced grappling hook, would not work super well for climbing like objects, but it could be really useful in towns. Also, flashbang might be pretty good. I'd say fire spitter is probably not super useful because you're going to be dealing with some things that might have fire resistance because you're out in like the desert of Wild West Australia, basically. Belt of adjusting size, always cool. Definitely always cool. Element eater. That said, a lot of things out here might have some elemental powers, so element eater might be pretty good. Gravity switch, maybe. I'm just going to quickly go through all of these. Impact gauntlet you already have, right?
Yeah, but you can put upgrades on it. So you can upgrade the impact gauntlet twice. To make another fist, so I could have 2 fists.
I would let you take the power fist upgrade if you wanted to, by the way.
Oh, nice.
If you chose. So jumper cable, you don't have the prereq for it.
Yeah, so then I could get the shock generator. So then, because there's a couple upgrades that have like there's the higher level, which is really cool, is that they have like you must have the prerequisite of this, but then you can turn your lightning shock generator into a jumper cable.
So
That might be
looking at
interesting too.
this, I'm just going to quickly look through this. So repeating hand crossbow could be pretty good because
Yeah.
then you'd have like bop, bop, bop. Sight lenses, always useful. Just because things might have like, I have used fog, mist, and smoke a lot in this campaign so far.
Yeah, then I could actually, because it
So you can
says
see up to 15 feet. Net launcher
Yeah.
would be broken. Just saying. Jumping
Yeah?
boots. Oh, well, if you correctly net something, yeah, because like you've got line of sight
Fair.
on things, and you guys are using a lot of ranged weapons because this is a Wild West style campaign, right?
Yeah.
And then I would say no mechanical familiar, just because like we're
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. I wasn't thinking of mechanical.
Amy's
armor,
got the
mechanical
sidekick
familiar.
this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, lightning baton is pretty dope, which is always fun because then you can
Yeah, I
just.
was looking at that one too.
I just picture Trixxi being like this tiny little black widow that's like, yeah, just Zort.
Honestly, I was looking at the lightning baton and the shock generator and the belt of adjusting size for the lulls.
Belt of
But
adjusting
I've
size
had a
is
couple
hilarious.
characters that have done the growth thing, so maybe Trixxi just stays small.
Yeah, I would just say fire splitter or fire spitter is probably the one that's the
Spitter?
least
Okay.
useful. But they all
Cool.
seem pretty good. Oh, also ricocheting weapon was pretty fun.
Right? That one also looks pretty good.
Yeah. So I think you're pretty good overall on pretty much anything. Does anyone have any questions going in on what will be useful for future endeavors and so on?
I don't have any questions about that exactly, but I
Mhm.
found that as a Warforged, I'm immune to disease.
Yes,
Paladin level 3 gives me something that makes me immune to disease.
that's true.
So I'm
you-
not sure. I'm okay with like just having it double up and just that's fine by me. But I
Mhm.
don't know if we could do something a little bit different.
Let me take a look.
So that it would be useful. Sure.
Yeah, it's always such a rough one because I've had a couple of
Mhm.
characters that have had similar things where they doubled up, and then you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's great. I like a red dragon or gold dragon born sorcerer, and you're like, yay, I've got fire resistance on top of my fire resistance. So
Yeah.
let's take a look. So
I mean,
you're
double
immune to
resistance.
disease. You have advantage on poison and resistance to poison damage. You don't need... This is one thing about Warforged that I think so many people get wrong, and you are not getting wrong, which I love, is that you don't need to eat, drink, or breathe.
Oh no.
But that
I
means
just
you
like it.
can. Well, and you've
Yeah,
got organic
I just
components.
have fun with it.
Like they get fed. It's just you have a slower digestive tract. I guess that does mean there
Yeah,
could be a
but if
fat
we're
Warforged.
rationing, ooh.
That would be great.
But if we're rationing food, then she'll obviously won't take any. Because
Don't worry, maybe you'll take
That's silly.
double.
sucks to suck, life forms.
Sucks to suck. So
Sucks to
I don't know
suck.
what would be something useful. I was gonna say like immunity to poison, but that's a pretty big boost.
That's
Um,
pretty big boost, yeah.
That is pretty
Imagine
big.
being organic.
Gross.
Couldn't be
Being
me.
organic.
So
What about advantage to poison?
she already has it.
She
I already
does?
have it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Advantage
Pretty
and
good.
resistance both at the same time.
Oh, dang.
So
Okay.
I think there might be a chance that it makes you
It
immune
just
to
doubles.
disease.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I think this one's just gonna have to double, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what I
that's
can
okay.
do is I can hit your allies with a lot more diseases so that you feel cool about it. Who wants
So-
mummy rot?
Ugh.
Quick question, actually, Kelly.
Yeah.
While we're
Naturally.
because I'm looking at because artificers don't get cantrips, so getting a shock generator allows me to cast shocking grasp. So
Mhm.
does that mean that it would level like a cantrip? Like it would keep the cantrip leveling? Like if
Boy, you are asking the fun questions.
because I was just realizing like, oh, this actually I get a cantrip then. Because I cast
I
shocking
mean-
grasp. It says you cast shocking grasp. So I would assume that means that it levels like a normal cantrip does?
I don't see why not.
Okay, cool. I think I
I-
might take the shock generator then, because that
I-
is fucking dope. Getting a
Unless it
cantrip.
says, like, because I don't have the entire document in front of me, so unless it says that, like,
Yeah.
spells you get count as, like, first level or something like that, in the preamble. then-
No, it just says you integrate your shock generator or your creative device capable of generating potent shocks. You can use this. I copied the wrong thing into our private chat just now. I did the thing below it. You cast this. You can use this to cast Shocking Grasp. When you cast Shocking Grasp with this feature, you can use either your Dexterity or Intelligence modifier for the melee spell attack roll. So
It
I would
basically
assume
seems
that
like
just
the
gets a
generator's
cantrip.
doing it. Yeah.
To me, that sounds like you're getting Shocking Grasp, much like with what's that feat that gives you the cantrip? as
Yeah, like an
well, or
initiate.
like
yeah, like an
the-
initiate.
yeah, you're
yeah.
basically
Yeah.
taking like a warlock evocation.
Yeah, okay. So it would be you would rule that it's just like it would level slightly like at level
I
5.
would say,
when you hit that, it
why the
gets
hell not? You're
another
using a
dice.
class feature to gain a cantrip. Like, it feels like it should
Cool.
give you something good. Like, in Avernus, I took my level 4 feat to get Eldritch Blast. Right? So why, I spent a leveled bonus on that, so like, it makes sense to me. But I got other stuff
Yeah,
from it.
cool.
So
Cool. Cool. Then I might take shock generator because I think that's just great. Because she's talking about how her arm has all these features and it vibrates and stuff like that. So now it can go buzz buzz when electric.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, and yeah, that could be a lot of fun too, just to play and how it the aesthetics of it as you're casting with it, right? So, like that, I did a similar thing with Veritrix in Rain with her gauntlets using electricity as basically a rail gun, which was awesome.
and now it's a get railed gun. What?
Oh, I'm gonna have to
Amy's
spend more
face
time
on that one.
looking through-
Amy's face on that one.
Yup.
Well, that's what
I'm
she
gonna have
tried
to
in the first
spend
episode, and then all hell broke loose.
more
Yeah.
time
Yep.
going
Yeah.
through all of these different spells because it's going to take a while to go through.
Anyways, back to Caitlan. I was just like asking because I was reading the things and I was like, wait. is
Yeah,
this-
so,
yeah, cool.
Caitlan at 3rd level, so you get the primary thing at 3rd level that you get, if we're going through these individually, is that you get an extra spell, a spell slot anyway. And you get your Sacred Oath finally, but there's also the optional Harness Divine Power. So Harness Divine Power is, I am totally fine with the optional rules, by the way. If you guys want to use them, then we can just toss them in. So Harness Divine Power is from Tasha's, and what it means is that you can use your Channel Divinities. You can spend a bonus action and regain a spell slot of a level equal to half your proficiency bonus rounded up. So boom, there you go. And
Oh, that sounds good.
yeah, so if you want to use that, it's just a free bonus where you're like, I need a spell to smite somebody, but I haven't used my, super badass thing that Kelly wrote me. That's fine. I'd rather smite. So
Are we gonna go over those?
yeah, let's go ahead. So the Oath of the Peacemaker. Fluff goes here. I need to type the fluff for that. So your tenets are defend the weak, end needless hostility, and bring peace to the frontier. So at level 3, you get Sanctuary and Guiding Bolt as powers. At level 5, you get Hold Person and Warding Bond. At level 9, you get Spirit Guardians and Speak with Dead. At 13th, you get Banishment and Freedom of Movement. And at 17th, you get Hold Monster and Scrying, because you're one part sheriff, one part badass. Your Channel Divinities.
Yeah, lots of control. Crowd control.
Crowd control and investigation powers, right?
And investigation, yeah.
So what we decided to go with is Detect Hostility. You can use your Channel Divinity to focus on sources of potential violence. As an action, you use your Channel Divinity. For the next 10 minutes, you and your allies cannot be surprised and have advantage on initiative rolls. Okay. Peace's Demand. As an action, you can use your Channel Divinity to cause your voice to ring with divine purpose. Choose a number of creatures you can hear equal to your Charisma modifier to make a Wisdom save. On a failure, the creature becomes paralyzed for 1 minute. The creature can attempt a saving throw at the end of each of their turns. So that's a big one. That's a big, powerful one. But they do get a saving throw, and it's a wisdom save. So, so that will hopefully not come back to haunt me later.
If the whole 1 minute is too long, I think we talked about this. We'll tweak it.
Yeah. Aura of Cover is what you get at 7th level. You radiate protection and shield your allies. Creatures within 10 feet of you gain a +2 bonus to their AC and dex saves as if they were behind half cover. If they actually are behind half cover, it counts as 3/4. If they are behind 3/4, it counts. Or if they're behind 3/4, it has no additional effect. But at 18th level, No, it doesn't give full cover. Maybe it will. Maybe it does. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. But at 18th level, it increases to 30 feet. At 15th level, you're immune to being charmed or frightened because you're too badass. And at level 20...
too badass to die.
You're just too badass to die. At level 20, you can withstand whatever they throw at you. You spend an action...
I'm just too badass to die.
It's true.
Sorry.
You, for the next minute, you undergo a transformation that gives you disadvantage on all incoming ranged attack rolls. You gain a special reaction that allows you to come to your ally's defense once per turn. When an ally is attacked, you can use this reaction to make an opportunity attack against the attacker. If you're wielding a melee weapon, this attack is made as if the target is within your reach, regardless of their actual distance from you.
So cool.
So if they're like 100 feet from you,
space.
You can stab them at range. And you also can use your movement to teleport to an empty space you can see within 40 feet of you. Which is pretty dope. It's basically a controller option. So that's pretty dope. Then I have 2 entire subclasses I wrote for Kat, and then she decided to go with a sorcerer.
I am sorry about that.
I'm not. I think it's funny.
It's great.
So then let's touch base with Christine real quick. So Christine, your expanded spell list. So I believe if we're going with, you're staying with the unnamed, or the nameless, I guess I should say. You are at 3rd level now, which means that I actually... So, spell level. Oh, that's right. That's why it doesn't make any sense to me, because it's when you level up. So when you get your 2nd level spells, you get access to this as well. So your fun things, Christine, is that you have 3 spells known, 4 spells known now, and you have 2 spell slots. Congrats! That doesn't go away for a long time. But you also, your slot level is now 2nd level, which means that all of your spells are now cast as level 2 spells, regardless of their actual spell level, which is pretty great. For your Pact, what that means then is that you get access. So you already had Bane and Compel Duel. Now you get Blur and Misty Step. So you have access to those spells. They're added to your Warlock.
If I choose to know them.
If you choose to know them, they're added to your spell list.
They are not a constant access. I could pick this.
You could.
I have very minimal amount of ability to have spells known and no ability to change them.
And you realized that there is a pretty dope ass little, not loophole, but thing built in. So at 1st level, you gain the ability to target someone with your Eldritch Duelist mark. As a bonus action, choose a creature you can see within 30 feet of you. They're marked for 1 minute. The mark ends early if they die, you die, or are incapacitated. Until the mark ends, you gain the following benefits. Attacks against that creature are considered magical for purposes of overcoming damage reduction, and deal an additional d4 of damage. This damage increases to d6 at 7th and d8 at 14th level. Any attack you make against the unmarked creature has a crit on a roll of 19 to 20. If the mark dies, you can immediately make an attack on another target you can see. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest. Okay.
Sorry, are we just going over everything I have? Because this is from 1st level.
Yes, I'm just reiterating. And then secondly, your gunslinger. At 1st level, you acquire the training necessary to duel opponents. You gain proficiency with sidearms and long arms. The nature of the Nameless also allows you to forge a special bond with a weapon. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one weapon that has the ranged or thrown property. You gain proficiency with this weapon, and when you attack with it, you can use charisma instead of strength or dex on attack and damage. The effect lasts until you finish a long rest. If you later gain Pact of the Blade, this benefit extends to every Pact weapon you conjure with the feature, no matter the weapon's type. So, and you realized that when you were taking your Pact, if you took Pact of the Blade.
So this is Pact boon, not Pact.
Pact boon.
Just
Sorry,
FYI,
yes.
because it
Pact
gets
boon,
very
yes.
confusing for other people if they're listening to it, because the Pact is of the Nameless.
You're 100%.
The Pact boon is a base warlock thing.
Okay, so if you took Pact of the Blade, you'd be able to summon melee weapons and use your charisma.
Yes. So I am torn on what Pact boon to take, because I could take Pact of the Tome, which gives me 3 cantrips, from any spell list, and they automatically become warlock spells for me. Or Pact of the Blade, which would give me ability to do melee, because all of a sudden I could, with the gunslinger feature of Pact of the Nameless, I could be a warlock wielding a great axe with charisma as the bonus
Which is great.
to attack and damage. Now, the only thing with that is just that I'm not a fighter. I'm not any type of fighting class, which means I will have no bonuses to extra attacks, nothing like that, no features that aid to attacking.
Mhm.
So the most I can do is a D12 then at any point in time. So I'm not really sure if it's worth it. I think it's cool and
Well,
neat.
but then you mark it and you get the additional D4, D6, D8
I
thing,
mean,
though.
Yeah, but D8 is at 14th level, Robin. We're not getting there.
Oh, fair. Yeah,
Like, there's no point even looking at that part. So I can do a D4 until 7th level.
Depends how much I
Additionally.
enjoy this game. But yeah, probably.
So, whereas like Eldritch Blast is a D10, and I think
Yeah.
5th level I get 2 of them, and then
Yep.
So I'm doing 2 D10 then I 5th in a couple levels. So, but that'll never go up with a weapon.
And
This
you
is true.
only
I'm not
get
sure if
one
it's-
attack as a warlock.
Yeah, because it's not a
Right?
fighting type, so there's no extra attack or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you don't get to
So I'm not
extra
sure if
attack
it's
with
worth it, but I thought it could be cool because we do not do a ton of melee.
Yeah, like we were talking before game, and Caitlan is the most melee forward character at the moment.
Trixxi, I have my gauntlet. I play mid.
I consider you
I
a
play
medium range
mid-range.
character. Like you're like
Yeah.
a switch range,
Hmm.
right?
So I wasn't sure if
So-
it could be interesting because I kind of just caught onto that little bit that Kelly had added to Gunsling. I was like, this would apply then to melee weapons.
Mhm.
Oh, doesn't matter that I have shit strength. That could be cool. But I'm thinking probably Tome is more versatile of giving me more spells that don't need to use up my spell slots.
This is true, and then that scale with you, which is just beautiful.
That too. So
Now, that
anything
said-
that scales up would then get better.
So, and Christine, you and I already discussed. So, if you took Pact of the Tome, there are 3 ways that I'm willing to present you Pact of the Tome. So, if you take Pact of the Tome, I'm willing to present it to you as a book as per the rules. If you like that, that's great. I also am willing to have these spells etched on your skin as either tattoos or scars.
Okay, so now there is part of the Pact of the Tome, though, where your book can be destroyed and you just
Yep.
reform it.
Yep.
Because that's the one way to, like,
I would say,
neuter a Pact of the Tome warlock for a little bit.
well, then I will just say that theoretically somebody could carve your skin off and you'd have to regrow it.
That's gross.
Yes.
You'd have to regrow.
You'd have to heal it. You'd have to wait for it to heal, which would be about the same amount of time. Mechanically,
Like a
it would
long
be
rest.
it would be identical in terms of
Okay.
that.
because I'm like, this feels like a little weird.
But no,
kinda
somebody
makes the
could like
section
hold
a
your
little bit
arm over a
odd.
fire and damage your spell that way. Now this would not be like ambient effects. Like if I hit you with a fireball, I'm not going to be like, roll to see if you lose a spell. right? This would have to be an intentional, like somebody knows what is on your skin and destroys it with the same willfulness as someone reaching into your pocket and destroying your tome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because reading the Pact of the Tome, it talks about like losing it, not it getting destroyed. Because it basically says it destroys the previous book when you do this like when you make a replacement. So it's not like it actually talks about them. It's more, I think it's for like if someone like literally takes your book away from you and then you can destroy it, reform a new one.
Yeah, so if I take your skin away from you, you have to grow new skin. It's easy.
Which is where I was kind of going like, how is this happening? Because that...
Okay. Here's the deal.
I don't want to see that happen. That's
I'm
gross.
not a douchebag DM, okay, is how it works. And I think that the whole like taking someone's spell book away from them is fine in the short term, but
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure if I
let me know before next game, because the scene will be very interesting if you choose that option. And in one way, very painful.
Gross.
Hey, your patron is not a nice person.
Yeah.
But they get the job done.
Yeah. So I've been looking through what the hell is this book called again? Deep Magic for cantrips. So I have a few. I'm kind of got like 6 I'm interested in, but I'm not 100% sure if I want some base ones or not, because you only get 3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a hard decision part. So I might try and write up some of these and share them to the group to just be like, does anybody see anything that's really good or anything that they can do basically exactly? So there's no point in me taking it.
Yeah, and you can absolutely change it before next session too. So like don't think that you have to decide during this stream right now.
Well, no, but I figured get everybody's input.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying that like
help.
don't feel pressured right now. Is like, but no, if you have an ideas, do it.
You maybe don't need to take things that deal psychic damage, because oh boy.
Actually, that's a great point. That is a really great point. So, Kat, your character is very focused on psychic damage. Is anybody else specializing in an elemental type of damage or something else?
So my 3 spells that I get, 4 spells, I have a lot are to do with making guns magical and like heat seeking. So like I have seeking projectile, which turns one attack into a crit if I roll more than 20 on like the total die. I have arcane weapon now, which is turning something into force. And then I have my awaken rope and cure wounds. So I have 1 healing spell and then 1 kind of weird stuff. But mine is more focused on probably like turning weapons into like more powerful weapons is kind of where I
was considering that potentially I should take Spare the Dying because we don't have a ton of healing between us all. And the one that's in this book that's quite neat is Claws of Darkness.
Yeah.
And you shape shadows into claws that grow from your fingers and drip inky blackness. They have a reach of 10 feet.
Oh, that's why.
And then you make melee spell attacks with them that deal 1d10 cold. Which is just like, I can just imagine like these long like claw lashes like coming from her hands instead of like what claws she already has.
The only thing is that you don't add anything to them, right? So I think it's just the D10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't add anything to any spell damage ever.
Yeah, except for if you get the Eldritch Invocation, which allows you to do Agonizing Blast. That's like the only time you add something.
You never add anything to spell damage.
God, Agonizing Blast is so good.
So,
but like that's the only one that you add.
What level? Let's see. So, okay, cool. Nice. You only can cast level 2 spells, right, Robin?
No, 1.
Okay.
Right now.
Well,
I'm an artificer. I'm very much I'm like the paladin, where it's like I'm the ranger, where you have a very small spell progression, because like I'm a half caster basically. Artificers are, so like I don't get 2nd level spells until 5th level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Because I was looking at the spells I wrote and I forgot that Tammy's Divine Armory is a level 3 spell. So
I will not get that until level 9.
fair. And then I was looking at my other ones, and I immediately scrolled down to silvery boobs.
Nice.
Woo!
What level is that?
No.
It's only level
Trixxi can
1.
take
It's only
that.
level 1.
What?
Silvery
Is
barbs.
is it an artificer? Is it artificer?
Honestly, it could be. It's silvery barbs, but you have to flash somebody because somebody made me make this.
Trixxi would do that. Trixxi would do
Trixxi
that.
would
But then
do
it would
that.
be
I
like
th-
verdant boobs.
I feel like that would go really well in like the College of Distraction bard
Oh, yeah.
that you made.
Silvery
That would
boobs.
be like a base spell, like
Yep.
Oh, and when I was looking at these, Kelly, I had a question that came up for the cantrips. If something is specifying it's a ranged weapon attack with a bow, crossbow, thrown weapon, can we add gun in there as well?
Yep.
Okay. I figured as much. But I
Basically,
wanted to make sure.
if you are proficient in a ranged weapon, it'll count, right?
Excellent.
Inflict nosebleed. Good one, chat. God, I hope someday our costume budget is high enough. Join the Patreon, everybody, that we can have someone play an Alfar.
Okay, you were talking about like inflict nosebleed and silvery boobs, and I was like, where are you going with this for costume budget?
Oh, yeah, it's so well. Honestly, Robin, you and I were talking yesterday about how one of my hopes is that I really want someone else to run an Elos game on the channel so that I can be a player. But I also want to play like a little coquettish wood elf girl. So I could get a bodysuit.
Okay.
I could get one of those silicone. I could learn from Vlad, right? I'd have to shave. I don't know. Because I am not putting that much foundation in my beard again. Not after that last game of Golden Vault I did.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that had that thought. Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kyle. Thanks. All right. So, as we're taking a look at this as well, so we got eldritchifications, we got pack boons, we got spells. Does anybody else have any class or development stuff that they want to check in on?
Sort of. I mean, we're talking about the Drake Warden.
Yeah.
But so the thing about Drake Warden that I did not want specifically was the level 3 feature. You get a small dragon. So this is not something you can ride. You can't ride it until level 7 when you get the Bond of Fang and Scale. But you get the magic stuff for like infused strikes and draconic essences, and like eventually it gets flying. And I'm like, I don't care about the flying. Like I'd rather have something I can ride earlier on that I can summon, I guess, or blow a whistle and have it run to me like a bunch of video games do.
Damn, I was actually going to be fine with that because I was
parts.
thinking that it had just hatched, right? So that it would be small.
Well, even if it had just hatched, I would want it to at least be something I could do something with. Like,
all right, so it's medium.
But we can talk about it. Like,
it's medium.
Well,
to
that's
large.
the thing is that I'm looking at war horses and I'm looking at like the riding lizard stat blocks, kind of to figure out like what that might look at. Like,
I mean, look, I know someone's going to say something in the comments below. Drake Companion, small dragon. I know that they mean small-sized dragon in terms of the size mechanic, but I also would argue small dragon is still a pretty big creature. Like, if we're going to be taking it as verbiage rather than system mechanics, I don't care. You can write it. Like, that's fine.
So if we're saying it's like at least a medium-sized creature that I can ride.
Yeah. When I think of small dragon, just put my own spin on this, I'm thinking of a dragon the size of like Toothless and How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, that's what I would say, honestly. Now,
are they talking about like because the thing is like they're also not saying like young dragon, or wormling, which then you could like actually associate the size of the thing.
Well,
here's the thing: at level 7, it specifies Drake Mount. It grows to medium size. So
like they're just talking about the size, but I'm making the argument, I'm making the meta-textual argument that a small dragon is still pretty big, even if it is small sized. But that said, and like
this has flying. I'll take away the flying if I can have it be bigger. Like, I'm happy to make some adjustments here.
All right. Well, hold on. It grows to large at 15th level. When does it get flying?
Right.
It gets flying at...
It gets right away at level 7. It has flying.
7.
grows wings on its back, and gains flying speed equal to its walking speed. I don't give a shit about that. Like,
I mean,
just make it faster, maybe.
honestly, I feel like a burrowing speed or a climbing speed would probably be better. But
Yeah. So I'm also definitely looking at different dinosaurs. Just for ideas.
as you should. I think the mechanics for the Drake Companion are pretty solid, though.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So just some of the specifics and like the draconic essence. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care if I like. I guess that's fine. Chosen type determines immunity if it gets the infused strikes. Like, do we want that or do we want to do something slightly different? And I don't really want the.
For which one?
Well, it says the draconic essence. When you summon the Drake, choose a damage type: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison. Chosen type determines its damage immunity and the damage of its infused strikes trait.
Oh, okay.
Infused strikes. When another creature within 30 feet of the Drake that can see it hits a target with a weapon attack, the Drake infuses the strike with its essence, causing the target to take an extra 1d6 damage of the type determined by draconic essence. So the thing is that if I'm riding it, it can't see me.
It can see you.
It can see my allies.
It can see you.
But so I would think maybe like tweak that so it can't help other people. Like maybe it just helps me when being like ridden.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. You know what? I would rather say that it can do it, but it generally doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. So just some like tweaks like that. But otherwise, I'm like, that's kind of the way I
think that this is pretty good as is. I'm totally fine with it being rideable. Maybe like have an episode where it's still growing. And then you're having to like feed it like
having it like having to feed it and like raise it a little bit. That's adorable. I'm totally okay with that. But I don't want to wait till level 7 for that.
Yeah, I'd have to level you up pretty quick.
Did you just say feed it goblins?
Well,
Kelly?
I would never say that. I would never.
Okay, good. I
didn't mean you.
Justified.
Other goblins.
That's my people. Excuse you, sir.
Tally is okay with this.
Yeah,
Tally liked that.
Tally likes this plan.
When
Tally approved.
Zoe using that detect hostility and just detecting everything, like
everybody
everything
has initiative to feed the goblin. I didn't say feed the goblin.
Okay, let's feed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Robin, what do you want to eat?
Oh, nice.
And why is it a Carrion Maravek?
Oh,
I already have.
That's fair. Yeah, you did eat that, but no bastards, please.
I did.
Okay, so you want some toothless stuff, is what you're saying. Carrion. We're talking about Carrion.
Yeah.
For the toothless stuff. No teeth, Trixxi. Okay, so toothless shenanigans. Okay, so if we are kind of through the character building stuff, then let's I also want you guys to also think toward the future. If there's anything that you want me to adjust and to move around, please let me know. But with that, let's talk about some plot stuff. So going forward, you guys are taking the train up from Prospect to Burden. In Burden, you're going to go pick up your critter. You are going to try to get some money for a voyage because you still have to travel. When I'm talking about the cauldron, I want you to kind of picture Australia. And so if I'm like, you need to go to like Alice Springs from Perth, you should know. By the way, Google that. Google Maps that. And, let's Google Maps that right now. Let's just say Maps Alice Springs to Perth. So if you are driving, it is 28 hours. Also, true fact about Australia, as far as I understand, you can't get insurance to drive that certain times of the year because of the ruse. So it is a 22-day walk. Woof.
It's 2,492 kilometers.
That's a journey.
That is a journey.
It is a journey.
So I think that like there are going to be some side quests that you can undertake. I'm kind of picturing you guys being in Burden for like 2 to 4 episodes, or like kind of around there before you move on. I'm assuming that the center plot is going to take you to wherever it takes you, but I'm assuming it's going to be about 12 episodes for this arc. Could be more, could be less. So far, I know that we had originally planned ColdIron to be like 22 episodes. in and out 20 episode adventure, but it's fun and I enjoy it. So who knows? But I will say I won't be starting any new projects in the homebrew sphere until this is done. Until it's done. But then you're getting 2 new ones. So,
So how far away is Nowhere from Burden?
So if we're looking at the map, so for one, you don't know. Camp Nowhere is a mining camp. So you will have to find it. But I will say that you are headed in the direction of Stark Springs. So taking a look at the map, which I will scroll up to new rules. And there we go. So a rough idea of this, which I will... Can I copy paste this on top of the screen? I cannot. View more options. So if we are talking about...
Is it on the way to Stark Springs? Or if for plot wise, is it on the way to Stark Springs? Trixxi, yes, we have to find out where it is. But for Robin wants to know because I have that nugget of the whole camp going missing. I know.
I would say
Trixxi
that if you look at the map and the map is this big and so looking at the map, you are headed from Prospect to Burden, and then you are headed to Stark Springs. It is inside of this area. It is, if you put if the map was the size of a page and you put like a toonie down, it would be inside. The toonie would be touching Stark Springs and Camp Nowhere.
Okay.
So it's basically, it's within a couple of days of it. It's in that top corner.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the correct direction to go. It is also a dangerous place to go because Port Sulphur is just on the other side of the coal flats and the mountain range there, which is where the elves are. I will also be updating this map and hopefully finding somebody who makes better maps than me. Because I'm bad at maps. It is one of my major things. Maps and legal documents, my 2 weaknesses. So you'll be making your way up that way. That's kind of the plot that I have for you. Now, with that in mind, is there anything that you guys particularly want to have happen in game? Like, does Zoe want an episode where she gets taken in by an ex-con who just wants to, get his kids back from the system and has a romantic subplot with a 90s dad played by Patrick Swayze? Does Trixxi want to get in a pie eating contest only to find that the pie was within her the whole time? Does Belle
Is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Does Belle want to get into a contest shooting mechanical ducks only for it to be revealed that they were real ducks all along, and now she has to go on a quest of penance to the duck god? Does Carrion want poke battles, and does Taliina'a want to find more vowels for her name?
So many vowels.
Many vowels.
She, there's a reason she shortens it, right?
I mean, of 3 letters, 2 of them are vowels in Zoe's name. I'm just saying.
True.
Just
If you
beat
steal
up
her
Zoe.
vowels, it'll be Z.
It'll be Z.
Beat up Zoe and take her vowels.
And that's what happens when she deactivates.
To Alina.
It's just Z. It's just Z.
It's just Z. It's
Z.
just Z.
Z.
See,
Zed.
I mean, other than what we were already kind of talking about, I'm not too sure with Tally, because I'm not exactly sure what her emotional state is at the moment. And what she is really thinking about in terms of like, I want to do this, while still obviously making it fun for audience and players to interact with. But I don't know, I'd like to explore some more of her. darker side.
Mm-hmm. Besides, like darker than the human trafficking. Okay, we can go there.
Well, I mean, like that aspect of her, you know, because I know this next part of it does include a bit of that history. So,
there is some cool stuff. Now, as we are headed into this, then, does anyone have any questions about the plot up till now, where you're just like, I just don't understand this detail? Like, or something. And this includes you too, if you're watching live. If there's something where you're like, I didn't understand this, who was this guy? Let me know. Let me know. And I'm happy to answer that for you, if it's something that your character would know. Now, there are some things that where you just be like, well, what was the deal with this? And I'm like, I don't know. That seems really contradictory for some reason. You know, that might be a plot point. Because you guys know that I love plot points where people say things incorrectly. And you're like, well, I thought that this... Yeah, because he was an idiot. You asked an idiot what his opinion was, and he's like, I don't know, I just figured the tariffs are good, you know, and ugh. But so yeah, if you have any questions about the plot so far, please let me know. And if there's anything you want to adjust about your characters, like, let me know. Now, we already did discuss during the episode the other day that we are going to be changing some of the debtor's mark system so that it is a little less student loany in many ways. So yeah, because I know that like we've got in this game probably like $200,000 worth of student loans at least that need to be paid. So woof. Totally random example. Totally random example. I don't work for the board game industry in Canada and am very upset by certain trade practices or anything. Chat. Remind me to tell you something on the break, folks. But yeah, everybody's pretty good on the plot, I guess. Okay, perfect.
I think so. From like what have revealed so far, I think.
I feel like you've led the plot
together
so wonderfully.
Well, you helped me get there.
That it leaves a really nice amount to the imagination or as mystery. But what has been revealed tends to be either clear for both player and audience, or it's clear that it's supposed to not be. If that
I appreciate that. Well, because that's always something very difficult where you have like a mystery and you're trying to balance that out as a game master, where it's like, oh well, this needs to feel like a mystery for a reason rather than just feel like I'm sitting in the corner tittering that you don't know something that I think we've all played with those type of DMs before where someone's like, haha, you don't know something because I had no clues to give you. Okay, thanks buddy. Or having the mysterious character that knows everything that's like, yes, of course, you have to do this task for me. I only do that when the guy is literally going and usually it's Zerthus. Because that guy is so great at just being like, yeah, I know what you're supposed to do, but I can't tell. I'm literally a cleric of the god of trickery, guys. I'm not going to tell you. I'd get excommunicated.
He is such an amazing recurring NPC.
I love him. He's a dick.
He's so funny every single time.
Robin is freaking out because she can just see Teddy right there with his cone.
Poor boy.
Coned. There we go.
Show me that dog nose.
Show me that. What does that dog know? Okay, so then good. We're good on plot. By the way, surprise! If you didn't catch it going in, this is sort of a sequel to Reign of Emeries. So ha ha ha!
What? Those reveals were great, by the way.
Yeah, I know. We actually had some comments that were very sad, Amy, on your behalf. There was someone who left a comment on a previous episode. It was like, I'm really sad that Amy wasn't feeling well, so that she was just like picture only. I really wanted to see her face on the reveals. Aww. And it was like, aw. People really love seeing your reactions. I think that's very sweet. To be fair,
I think
Amy
it
has
also has
one
to do with the fact that my face has no ability to not contort in response to things.
I know, it's so great. I love your face. It's great. 10 out of 10. Your face is 10 out of 10, Amy.
I have actually gotten so much more like expressive, even on like in my personal life, since we started doing this over camera. Because it's like, you know, now it's like makeup, right? Everything, you know, exaggerate the makeup, make it look prettier. And all my reactions now are like, it used to just be like, oh yeah, and now it's like, oh yeah, like, this is awesome. But it's just, you know,
It feels
I
better.
enjoy showing it more now.
One is funny
Um,
because I'm
so-
listening to Rain again. I'm on episode 10 of Rain. Just re-listening to the podcast. And it's funny because I can definitely hear that change in you from Rain, even when like you were going with they them pronouns at this point. And even then, like the difference from Rain days of your like expressive, just hearing it is changed completely.
Yeah,
It's
right?
quite amazing.
It is so wild looking back at the other old ones.
If this is one of the best things about having friends who go through transition and get like support through it and things like that, is it's so cool to see your friends bloom into like the people they were like always supposed to be. And if you folks have not had that experience, go back and watch Rain and just like watch Katrina be born. And it's very interesting. It's very, very lovely.
It was especially fun, like for me going back and seeing those, because it always takes a second for me to click into it that that's me. There's always that, especially on video, of like, oh, I like this person. He's doing a really good, you know, I like what he's doing. Wait a minute. That's me. So it's especially fun, like from a player standpoint, having had almost all of, well, actually all of my transition being so public in this medium, with all of my great friends here, showing it on camera the entire way, right? So
it's real.
It's really interesting living it.
You should go get a gender studies degree and use this as reference in your material.
Literally,
like you could.
Time
you
to
could
go
be
get
like,
student debt.
oh yeah, totally. But like you literally could. You could go into this and be like, I actually have like physical recordings of my own transition that I want to use in this paper.
Yeah,
That would be great. Also,
That
anybody
would
who
be-
wants to
that would-
anybody who wants to use us for their own project, hit me up. Kelly@dorktales.ca. Or join the Discord. So, that said, Robin, you in our private chat are saying that you've been shouting at me, foreshadowing things in Rain. Am I foreshadowing things in Rain that are only paying off in ColdIron?
Both shards, everything. I'm like, God fucking damn it, Dave. It's in my head sometimes when I'm like, damn it,
Dave?
Kelly, damn it. It's a TikTok thing where it's
okay.
like, God fucking damn it, Dave. It's a sound on
It's
TikTok.
okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah. I also
sure.
wanted to sell, because I love cameos and I love creating stories that have intricate like weavings of plots and things like that. But I am very precious with like the Elo stuff. I was actually talking to Robin about this earlier, about how I'm much pickier about things that go into Elos than I am about Elos things going into other things. Like if I'm running a module, I will throw in stuff from Elos. I'll throw in stuff from Strixhaven, like into the, whatever. I don't care. Whatever. It's a module. But like, I won't let things from Faerun show up in Elos unless I really support them. But what that means is I was talking to you and Christine about this actually, about how I really want you guys in ColdIron to be in over your head, and it doesn't work for the timeline and it would just be too much, but for you to be in over your head and be like, we're totally screwed, or alternatively be like, we've got this, and have like this like hovering shape above you, go, are you sure? And have it be Kyle's dad. I really want that, but it would be too much. But then again, I don't actually know where the Strixhaven cast is from originally. Like, I know Talbron's from Faerun. I know Kyle's from Elos, but I don't know where Cherry's from, and I'm a little vague on where Nell's from. They might have a summer home in Elos. Or work and commute. So, besides that, going into Burden, is there anything that people want in particular? Obviously, everybody wants a fight on top of a train. Like that, I don't even have to write that down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, train heist is like...
I feel like a train heist is like late game. I feel like...
The heist, yeah.
A
But, like, on
failed
top of a
train
train?
heist that results in
Yeah.
a fight on top of a train.
Oh.
And then we go back
But
and
why
do
would
it
we be
again and
heisting
actually
a
succeed
train?
later. I don't know.
Or are we
'cause it's
protecting the
cool.
train from being heisted?
We could be protecting
Either?
the train from being heisted.
I know
Is that
exactly
even-
what would be
is it-
happening. And it's a... Thank you, actually. That fills in a plot problem I was having. Train. Heist.
Perfect. Always trains. When you have when you're like, I don't know how to fit this in, just put
Trains.
It in.
Honestly, well, sometimes that's the way my development works, is like I'm plotting something and I'm like, okay, I know that you're going to go here. I know you're going to go here. And I know that like the end game is like kind of this. You're right. But I don't want to like set it in super stone, because what if you guys decide to take the plot a totally different way? But like, I kind of know it's going to be this, but I have no idea how to get, and now that's like a train heist connects the two. And it's like, perfect.
There you go.
It makes life super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So I also am very, very fortunate because Tim Kulig is doing a lot of the musical scoring for this. So go to timkulig.com. Great dude. But he has written several themes for this game, including Zoe's theme. I would like to explore backgrounds a little more, as well as your reasons for being here. I've got some particularly traumatic flashbacks for Belle, Trixxi, and Zoe's had plenty of traumatic ones. So we can crank that up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say I would love to go back into go into the background stuff and like trauma train. Let's go choo choo.
Absolutely. That's honestly something that I'm really, really looking forward to, is looking back at some of Tally's trauma.
I've been hinting at some of it for sure. So
Yeah.
there's Tally's background's interesting. There is something that I want to ask real quick though. And it is a very important question. And given that we are dealing with things, with whatever ColdIron is, whatever it's causing, there are some transformational effects and some issues with it when it gets used incorrectly or something happens with it, right? That's kind of been proven on stream. Is anyone adverse to body horror for their character? And I do want to ask this. Some of you have specific issues. I also don't want to ask anybody who has, just kind of undergone transition and reclaimed their body to say, hey, I want to mess with your character's body, right? Like, I think this is something that I want to make sure is really acceptable. So if is anybody not okay with it? You can either tell me privately or you can say publicly right now.
I am okay with pretty much anything,
Mm-hmm.
except I'd say except changing her body.
Okay.
Permanently.
Okay.
Permanently.
What,
I think that'd
scars,
be the-
fissures, things like that?
Oh, aesthetic things? Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You can kick me, bite me, punch me. It's like that scene in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where Pimento is going off about all the things you can do.
It is A-okay.
Do I have
It is A-okay.
I won't hurt kids
um,
unless that kid's a dick. Then it's negotiable.
Exactly.
Is there anything you won't do? Oh man, you
Oh
must
my
have some messed up shit in mind. Yeah, man. that seems
So
great.
that's the big thing for me is it's like her actual like body shape. I would like to leave that where it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything like, so like, for example, this would be something where I wouldn't change, it would be like a monstrous thing rather than like, now you are, like you're taller, shorter, fatter, thinner, like that type of thing, right? Like
Monster stuff, perfectly fine.
Okay, cool. I would also, and I want to state this because we recently, in Shards of Nirn, Robin, do you mind if I use you as an example for this?
Go
Cool.
for it.
So Robin was playing into some stuff in the Feywild, and her character gave away her character's name. Basically like not on purpose. Basically like the Queen of the Elves was like, or the Queen of the Fae was like, oh, can I have your name? And she's like, it's Fadia. And I'm like, and I'm like, I have to do this. It's the meme, right? But Robin was very very against this, not wanting to lose her character's name. And so we talked out after it, and I'm like, okay, it's not gonna be a permanent thing. Like, you don't like this as a player. There is a real difference between do not like this as a character and do not like this as a player. Do not like this as a character is still fun to play. Do not like this as a player means that it is ruining your time at the table. And my bit of advice to anybody who's running games, always lean into what the player wants, because the character, screw the character. Like, the character has no rights when the player's concerned, right? Like, the player dictates what happens to the character and vice versa, or not vice versa. So with that, like, Robin, we worked out that like it's only going to be like a long rest or something like that. So if anything comes up in this and something happens that you were uncomfortable with, or afterwards you're like, oh, I really didn't like that, that's fine. We can always, we may not be able to go back and retcon it in all cases, but we can always alter the way that it is perceived, right? Even if, for example, Carrion licks a piece of ColdIron and turns into a 20-foot tall dragon lizard woman, who knows? But then you're like, oh, I really didn't want any body horror, and now I'm a giant lizard creature. I'm like, well, maybe it was a one-off and you turned back to normal and you just had an experience being a Hulk for a day. And it was weird. Everybody gets a weird college experience, you know?
Yes, I mean, on that, I think like I'm more okay with temporary body horror. Like, I'm okay with gaining scars and stuff like that. I'd prefer not like grossly like pockmarked burn scar type stuff, because that feels like not as pretty cool, like that you're trying to make your character be. So like cool ass scar across my face, sure. But I also like the idea of like having like a limb be like really deformed or something is just, I don't want that going on long term.
So I would say permanent wounds, unless you lean into it, right, are going to be a you choice. If I blast you with acid breath, most of it's going to miss your face for some reason. You might get some scarring on your torso. Magic healing will usually heal that, but if you want remnants of it, the only thing that permanently scars are dragons and other things that are specifically very rare, right?
But I'm totally down for body horror that's temporary to fuck with the character psychologically.
Yeah, I would
Type
say
thing.
anything that is like super, I would say anything that is art altering. Like, if I would have to permanently have this and change my character art, that is something that I'm not okay with as a player. Temporary things can happen. Or if you are going to do it, then if you're going to take another of Trixxi's arms, then I would like a super god given arm to replace it. Like,
I'm just
I
gonna
don't
go back
want
to that
anything
pawn shop.
taken- Yeah, right? Exactly. But like anything is basically like, don't subtract body horror, but you can add and temporarily stuff.
Look,
I
I'm
would
not
say,
going to do
for me personally.
I'm not doing anything to change your character art without your permission, all right? So it is going to be, it's all consent based, guys. So I'll be like, and your hand gets cut off? And you're like, no, but it gets wounded. I'm like, okay, cool. But you could also be like, yeah, Luke Skywalker may be like, oh, yeah. What?
Well, oh my god. Another thing for me in that respect is I generally, like, for me at least, know that if you're planning something like permanent, that you're gonna do something cool with it.
I'm going to tell you this honestly, out of all of the games, the D&D games I'm running right now, I have one permanent thing that is going to be a gut punch to a player that I'm planning. I have one. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you when it is, but when it happens, I want you to think back and go, This is what Kelly was talking about. And know that I've already had everything prepared for over a year at this moment because I prep. So when this happens, like in 6 months, a year, 5 years, whenever it's coming, it could be coming for one of you. Know that I planned this in advance and I'm not backing down on this one.
Do the thing.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. It's gonna be pretty dope. And I think that and thank you for saying so, Random Equinox. So about how this is kind of a session 0.5. I think that it's really important to check in because we've been running this game for what, about 6 months now, about 5 months, and you know we're getting into the plot actually progressing. And we're out of the main city, and now we're going into a completely different scenario, right? Like this is a Wild West setting, but you guys were in a very Eastern civilized area. You guys are going into like the Badlands now. You guys are going out where there are like cacti and stuff, and some of them aren't bipedal little Gamorreans, although there are Gamorreans out here. I can't not love those guys. Right? Those guys are great. That's how they talk. They're wonderful. They don't have mouths.
I still feel bad about my first interaction with them.
That you shot one immediately and it was like trying to offer you water. Yeah, you jerk.
Oh,
no. They're really nice people.
And then we found, Asim still feels bad about that. I'm not sure if Tali would. I don't think she would. Katrina would. Fair. But I also really enjoy doing things that the character would do, even if it involves bad things for the character, because I know it's going to be fun and it's the thing that the character would actually do. And it's like, oh, this is dangerous.
So Kelly, if you click the link that I just put,
no.
Is that what the Gamorreans look like?
No.
Okay, because that's what I'm picturing.
it's definitely what I've been picturing this entire time.
No, they look like, oh my God, they don't look like this, but they didn't look like this, but they do now. Hold on. Oh my God, this is.
I'm definitely picturing the Choya from Guild Wars.
No, they look more like cactars from Final Fantasy, but like, I can't deny this.
Oh my God, I love it.
It has a monocle.
He's so distinguished. Yeah, he's distinguished.
Oh my God, I know what I've got the villain of this campaign.
Caitlan!
I've got the villain of the. Yep, that's the right face. There's the villain of this campaign right there with the water pistol.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Caitlan, your face.
Can he be doing the train heist?
Oh, I guess I can talk. I love him. I just have to say.
The one with the water pistol? I need to find out who that artist
the one with
is.
the water pistol.
Please. Oh God, does this person do like? They're a concept artist from Hong Kong. I have to be like, can I throw money at you to use this on my stream?
The one with the monocle is also very good, though.
The mode of the monocle is really good, but it doesn't have a water pistol, and that's what I'm here for.
That's true.
All right. So, I probably can't afford this guy. He's got 31,000 followers. I generally find that every $10,000 or 10,000 followers, the price doubles. So, anything else that we want to touch on? So I'm going to create a bunch more side stuff. During World Building Wednesday, I have been already fleshing out some stuff about Burden. So there are some things about Burden that you may need to be aware of going in. So let me just quickly check and make sure. So some things about Burden. Looking at this, I'd say that overall, Tali, you would know a lot of this stuff just secondhand. Trixxi, you may have heard this stuff, and everybody else will probably have to roll for it. But heading up to Burden, there are so if Prospect is the dream of the Cauldron, Burden is the truth. Burden is built at the first crossroads of the Wildlands, or the Badlands, about 3 days ride north from Prospect, about 100 to 150 miles. Like its sister city, Burden was originally a mining town and has thrived due to its abundant mithril veins, which are still mined to these days, although they are slowing down a bit. The town's core was built alongside the Mercury Run River, which goes from east to west, but a man-made canal called the Wild Canal, with an E, has been developed that feeds fresh water down into Prospect. The train line runs parallel to this canal. The larger city is a metropolitan hub, but Burden itself is an agricultural and raw goods trading post, and basically is kind of centered as the first like real city of the wild areas of the Cauldron. So like it's not the tourist capital. So it is where you go for like.
I had my NPC tiefling guy is from around
Yes.
Burden, right? I think
He is from Burden.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's where cattle and agriculture come from, or at least where they get traded.
Maybe
If I had to,
Trixxi will go there too.
yeah, you
try
maybe.
and-
So I would say that it's kind of like it's like kind of like Kansas City was to like the Old West in many ways. Like it's like when you get to like the Kansas City area or the Dodge City area, it's where the train goes, and then from beyond there you often have to take like wagons, right? At least for a period in the Old West. So there are about 13,000 settlers that kind of live in the area and around the area. Now this is like a miles of things, right? And including the miners, including like the town itself. The fertile ground among Mercury's Run, it handles all number of crops. And without Burden doing the work, Prospect would probably starve, right? So there, north of Burden is Fort Lankea, which holds a small garrison of Imresian Imperial troops and Magitech-trained soldiers. The fort was constructed as a bastion against the wild threats to the north, but mostly functions as an occupying army that oversees the production of food exports and ensures that its workers don't unionize. The soldiers are tolerated by the locals, but the army has increasingly become a post given to troublemakers and incompetence as a way of getting rid of them. So it's sending them to Siberia, right? Like you get stationed there. So slowly over time, the people there are getting shittier. Beyond the reach of the river, there are thousands of subsistence farmers that have built their life on rough soil that it refuses to accept any but the hardiest tubers. Others rely on ranching creatures that thrive on the native cacti and roughage, such as aurochs, giant grasshoppers, and sarin. And yes, giant grasshoppers are here because we had giant rideable grasshoppers in Emery's. And I love them.
I love them.
I love them so much.
Prepare to eat a lot of grasshopper meat.
Nom nom.
I will prepare it properly.
You will.
Good.
Well
Good.
said.
I will eat it properly.
So, Burden relies on its citizenry working in harmony with one another, and this has led to a far more egalitarian distribution of peoples. Historic conflicts are put aside in the name of survival, which leads humans to work alongside goblins and even less popular species. Your neighbor is your neighbor in Burden because you don't have a choice. Okay, so it's not like you can be elitist and stratified with the elves on top. I mean, you probably still can, but like the people, no war but class war type of thing in this area, right? So people are stratified by wealth rather than upbringing or heritage. It has a mayor. One fun thing that I just want to see your faces on for those of you who are Shards of Nirn people. The current mayor of Burden is a halfling man named Hildo Longspur. Longspur was born a farmer and is a devout worshiper of the planted god. I put this setting package together 8 months ago. Just saying. For those who aren't watching Shards, watch Shards.
How does that
Why
feel,
do you
Robin?
do this to us?
Trauma.
Does that,
What-
does
what-
that feel
How
good?
feels.
Does that
What'd
feel
you say,
good?
That
Amy?
feels terrible.
You say how
Why
or
do
why?
you do this? I said, why do you do this to us?
I'm not in control of this. History is in control of this. Wait until the next game. I have a game that's set like 1,500 years after this. Think of how many lore drops I'm going to have.
Oh,
It's going to be ridiculous. So there's saloons. There's a hotel there. There is a Dragoon chapter house for those who want to be Dragoons. There is a supply shop. There is a river and things like that. So I know that there probably is also a Raven's Dew guild house there for those who want to get into doing some bounty work. Cough, cough, Christine. So if you want to become... He's very sleepy.
I noticed his little feetsies, and I was really hoping that like you could just see the little feetsies peeking into the green screen. I thought that'd be cool.
He really liked when he was a puppy climbing onto the green screen and just sleeping on the couch. So he'd be hovering in the air.
Just floating through space.
Yeah.
Love it. Goals, really.
Right. Just goals. Yeah. So is there anything else that you guys want from Burden before you guys are going north? Since I am developing this world as we go. Perfect. Also, can I just say how much I love that the Grasshopper Saloon has a Kenku that works there named Cork Pop, but his name isn't Cork Pop. His name is literally...
Oh, I love them already.
But
That's amazing.
because they speak via noise. So
yeah. Relatable, really.
relatable,
actually.
right? I mean, I guess we all speak.
Yeah.
their name is asterisk Cork Pop asterisk because it's
Yeah,
the sound.
basically.
Yeah. The stage
Yeah.
direction.
It's their name is Stage Direction, which would be a great stage direction name. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff coming in Burden. I'm very excited for this. So I mean, honestly, I'm asking you a ton of questions. Is there anything else that we should touch on before we head forward? I feel that we might not have one of these at the next act break or arc break. Teddy, you can't scratch your ear through the cone, man.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Doesn't mean he's not gonna
He
try.
can absolutely try.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave that in.
I mean,
don't
he
care.
can't with that attitude.
For now, he just looks like a lamp.
I call him. I have so many names for him right now. I've got Lampshade. I've got. I say I
Radar.
love Lamp to him a lot. Radar. I call him Radar a lot.
Mhm.
I was gonna say satellite dish.
Satellite dish. He's pretty dishy. Although he can hear you
He's
from here.
scrotal
Next to that.
recall in my head.
I like it.
Yeah, Pixar. That's a good one. Yeah, he's the Pixar
Oh,
lamp.
It's a hard life for him being a dog right now.
All right. So I guess with that, is there anything else that we want to check in on? Does anybody have any questions? Anything do we want to chat about, or are we feeling pretty good? All right. Nice and easy.
Feeling good.
Feeling good. All right. So folks, we're going to be back pretty soon with more ColdIron. If you like what we do here, you can do two things to help us out. You can do three things, actually. First is you can leave comments. You can leave likes on the videos. Those are always really, really amazing. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed on YouTube already or on Twitch. You can also come and help me do some world building on Wednesdays. If you didn't know, I do a 1 to 3 hour, depending on how free I am, world building session every Wednesday on Twitch at noon Pacific. I go at least until 1, sometimes as late as 2 or 3. And do you mind? And it'd be great to have you in there to touch base on stuff like this. So besides that, you can also visit our sponsor, Bookworm Games. They are a fantastic proprietor of dice and dice-shaped things, and also like teas and other cool stuff like that. Help them, because honestly, the tariff stuff is affecting all small businesses that deal in board games and role-playing game products. And it would be fantastic to... They have great dice. So go check them out. Use code
dice
Dork.
that are so good on
Do they?
Instagram. They posted. Yeah,
I
they posted some
I
new
commented on them, being like,
Me
you
too.
better be bringing these to Odafest.
Yeah.
Odafest, right? Because oh my
There's-
god, they're gorgeous.
The Void and not a Mimic.
Right,
I'm just like,
right,
those better be there because they've got my name on them.
right.
I need new dice.
That's true.
Apparently,
I'll forward the Instagram thing to the group because yes, it is. They're fucking amazing.
It's true. You can save 15% on those dice by using code DorkTales. They also will accept that in person if you go to any of the local conventions they are attending. I will say that they're going to be at Odafest, Calgary Odafest in only 2.5 weeks. Basically, I'm very excited because we're going to be there as well. So come, we're going to be running a bunch of events, and you can meet us if you are in the Calgary area. We are also going to be at Kelowna Comic-Con. They have the papers assigned. They're having us as guests at Kelowna Comic-Con in Kelowna at the end of June. So come and hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be absolutely fantastic. I'll see how many of our team I can rope into coming up. Then besides that, you come see us. It'll be a lot of fun. Come see us. Come see Bookworm Games. Then you also, if you haven't already joined the Patreon, consider doing so. It directly helps pay for things that make this channel work, such as you've seen all the really cool art that I've done for ColdIron. I've paid someone else to do because our artist Manilyn is amazing, and they work very fast and very well, and have done some amazing art for this. So it also helps me afford things like electricity, which is helpful to run a stream on. Also, our website's surprisingly expensive. I need to update that thing. It's surprisingly expensive, but things like that. So definitely consider joining the Patreon. You can join the likes of our wonderful patrons, our divine producers, my mom and Shaikon De Vermillion, our demonic producer, Sorcerer Sanguine, our wizards of the Patreon, Tammy the Forever Clerk, the Ink Goblin, Crusher Urquhart, and Big Nut. Then our monster makers, Soul Omen and Larook, which have some stuff that is specifically coming in this game very soon. Both of them have come up with some pretty neat stuff. Well, Soul stuff is gross. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty gross, but I'm down for it. And Larook asked me what kind of stuff I wanted. And I was like, well, I've got this dumb idea. And he was like, yeah, I'm on it. And just like jumped in both feet and created something really ridiculous. And I'm very proud of both of them. And finally, our High Council, Taryn, Amberthist, Raven with Baubles, Chef Eladeth, Mike Baxter, Brian Kaler, Nerdy Metal Gent, Grumpy Owl, Lost Hero, Nihilus, and Cookie Mon Steve. So Cookie Mon Steve, welcome to the High Council. Wonderful to have you here. Besides that, consider joining the Patreon. There's going to be a bunch more stuff uploaded soon. We're going to be recording some more side episodes. I have just been sworn by Robin that for her birthday, I'm going to run another game that's going to get uploaded to Patreon. So woof, there we go. Another way to support the channel, if you would like, is for April Fool's Day this year, I started selling plots of land in Elos. So if you would like a full title to, you buy a plot of land in Elos for, a certain amount of money, you can get a title. It's great. Because sure, established titles works in my world too. What was it? Fantastic Feudalism. So if you want to become a lord, send some money to our tip jar or something, and I will send you a PDF writ of your new title, including the one that I'm about to send to Soul Omen, with Living Goddess Jade's son of the Atrocium. The Atrocium? Of the Atrocium? How am I going to fit all of that? I'll find a way to fit it for that price. But find a way. There'll be asterisks. But hey, a big thank you to everybody who supports us, and for all of the players. We will see you very soon. And hey, if you like that whole Planted God thing, come back tomorrow at 6 p.m. for a special Sunday episode of the Shards of Nirn. We will be back tomorrow for Shards, and then on Monday, we have the Session 0 for Technocracy Dominion over on Patreon. So I look forward to sharing all of these stories with you as always. You guys are amazing. And players, you guys are even more amazing. You guys are awesome, because I'd be running this for you even if this wasn't my job.
Aw, you're amazing.
You're amazing. I'm being bitten by a dog right now. All right. So say goodnight. Say goodnight, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Bonk the mic.
Bonk the mic. He is not having a good time.
That is the face of
he was trying to get out, Christine. That's why he was biting me, because the door was shut just enough he couldn't open it with the cone.
Oh, poor buddy.
Oh God. Okay. So besides that, folks, I love you big much. You guys are all amazing. Have a wonderful night. boy.